Good morning. We have been discussing deductions from gross capital gains, and we have so far discussed two sections. First one was section 54, followed by section 54B. And I've been telling this to you every time we discuss a new section that the logic behind all the sections that allows an assessee to claim deduction from gross capital gain has a common logic that in order to gain this exemptions, the SSC has to sell or transfer a capital asset, and the gains realized from the transfer should be reinvested in some other asset or deposit the money in capital gain scheme. So which asset the money needs to be reinvested is specified in each section. So each section tells you what needs to be transferred or what needs to be sold, and from the profit made by selling or transferring the capital asset, what needs to be purchased or where the amount has to be reinvested. So in section 54, we saw section 54 provides exemption to those assessees who sell or transfer a residential house property, and with the money what they make, with the profit what they earn from transferring the house property, should be reinvested in purchasing a new house property or deposit the money in capital gain scheme or do a combination of both. Likewise, in section 54B, the asset specified is urban agriculture land, in which the SSC to claim exemption has to first sell urban agriculture land, and from the profit realized, the SSC has to reinvest the money in again a new agriculture land, which can be either in rural area or it can be in urban area, or make a deposit in capital gain scheme or do a combination of both. So let's today discuss section 54D. Now, in the very beginning, when we were discussing the fundamentals of capital gains, we started with the definition of capital gain, followed by what is a capital asset, and then what do you mean by transfer. So this is how we began our discussion. So if you could quickly recall what transfer includes, the term transfer includes sale, and by and large all the questions what we have done from the very beginning of this chapter till now has been revolving around transfer, which is in the form of sale. But here in case of section 54D, we have transfer which is in the form of compulsory acquisition by government. Transfer can be in these 7 forms, right? What we have done so far by and large is sale. Then we have also done one question on conversion of capital asset into stock in trade. So one more category which we will be doing now is compulsory acquisition by government. So if you look at here, this section 54D says exemption from capital gains on account of compulsory acquisition of industrial undertaking. So before getting into specifics, let me just outline what is the fundamental concept behind this section 54D. Section 54D says this section 54D is specifically applicable to all types of assessees, whether it is individual, whether it is a HUF, whether it is company, it's applicable for everybody. So this section 54D says in case if you have an industrial undertaking. So when we say industrial undertaking, it can be a factory, it can be a plant, right? It can be a specific area where the production takes place. So it can be a warehouse where goods are stored after production. So this is what industrial undertaking refers to, where basically a manufacturing activity takes place. So what section 54D says, in case if the government acquires your industrial undertaking. Now you might ask me, why will government acquire somebody's industry, somebody's factory? The answer is for various reasons. One of the common reason why government takes over somebody else's property is because of infrastructure development. Right now, on account of expansion of metros in Bangalore, right? Metro Rail Corporation has to acquire so much of private property. Rail Corporation needs land, right? So therefore, Metro Rail Corporation is a government undertaking. So therefore, let's say Metro wants to take over your factory because that is where it proposes to build a metro station. So now, even though you might not be willing to sell, you're least interested to sell, but you have no choice left but to surrender your property to Bangalore Metro Rail Corporation. But of course, you will be given a very good compensation, which is quite fair as per the market valuation. Sometimes you get more than what the market value is. So you would be compensating. But the question here is, even though you were unwilling to, but the government is forcefully acquiring it because government needs your land for some or the other reason. So here you have to give your land to the government. So this can't be considered directly, even though technically speaking you're selling your land to government, but rather than using the word sale, because government, even though you're not interested to sell, but government wants it, so government is acquiring it. So that's the reason we use the word compulsory acquisition instead of using the word sale. But technically you're giving your property or you're selling your property to government. Government is undertaking your property. So in case government is undertaking your industry, your factory, your business premises for some or the other reason, government will pay you. Now when government pays you a very good compensation, which is quite fair, which is way better than the market value. Obviously you will end up making profit. Let's assume I have a factory in Yeshwantpur and for some reason government wants to take over that factory, and I would have purchased this factory. Let's probably assume my grandfather would have purchased it. Later it was transferred to my father. Now it has come to me. So my grandfather would have bought this only for some 10,000 rupees. Now the value of this factory is 10,000 crores and government has given me 15,000 crores. So technically speaking, the sale consideration which is realized in the form of compulsory acquisition is 15 crores. But technically speaking, my grandfather bought only for 10,000 rupees. So where is 15 crores and where is 10,000? I'm making huge amount of profits. So in order to avoid getting taxed on the profit what I am making, I have to reinvest this. So where do I have to reinvest? That's the question, because every section what we discuss tells you what needs to be transferred, what needs to be reinvested. So here section 54D says, after the government acquires your industrial undertaking and pays you money, the amount what you have earned in the form of profit should be reinvested again in a new industrial undertaking. So asset transferred is industrial undertaking. Asset to be purchased is also industrial undertaking, right? So that's the point which you people have to remember. So what is the asset transferred here? Industrial undertaking. What is the asset acquired with the money realized in the form of profits? That is also industrial undertaking. So that's section 54D for you, right? And of course, there are some other conditions which needs to be followed, which I'll quickly display here. So who can claim exemption? All assessees. So what needs to be transferred? Industrial undertaking, which can be land and building, and this can be a short-term capital asset also, or it can be a long-term capital asset also. One interesting condition here is the so-called industrial undertaking which is being acquired by the government. That industrial undertaking should have been used for the purpose of business during the last 2 years before the date of transfer. So that's an important criteria, because sometimes what happens, I may have an industrial undertaking, but unfortunately there is no production and the plant is being shut for the last 5 years. So no activity is happening in my industrial undertaking. In such case, I am not eligible for claiming exemption under section 54D, because the clause clearly says the industrial undertaking which is being taken over by the government should have been used for the purpose of business for at least 2 years or more prior to the date of transfer. So that is an important condition. And after the transfer happens, the money realized in the form of profit should be reinvested again in a new industrial undertaking, or you can also deposit money in capital gain scheme or do a combination of both. And what is the time limit given for you to buy new industrial undertaking? The answer is 3 years, right? So after buying the new industrial undertaking, you should ensure that you're keeping it for 3 years. So that is also an important criteria. It should not happen that you buy a new industrial undertaking, enjoy the claim under section 54D and immediately sell it off. In case if you sell that off also, what will happen is the benefit what you have claimed in the form of exemption will be taxable as capital gain in the following year. So that is also something which needs to be remembered. So section 54D says that you should transfer an industrial undertaking and the money realized in the form of capital gain should be reinvested in a new industrial undertaking or deposit the money in capital gain scheme or do a combination of these two, right? So that is what section 54D is all about. So let's do a numerical question now on section 54D. So here is the question. Just quickly go through this. So here, this individual SSC, an industrial undertaking in Bangalore, which was purchased by him in the year 2008 for 5 lakhs. So this is the cost. And its written down value as on previous year's opening date is 3,50,000. So which means that this is a depreciating asset. Okay, industrial undertaking, this is a depreciating asset. Sometimes it can be appreciating also, sometimes it can be depreciating also. How do we figure out? The answer is if WDV is given, it's a clear indication is that the capital asset is a depreciating asset. If this is not given, then obviously it will be an appreciating asset. And if it is an appreciating asset, you will also have CII values given in the question. So what do you understand by the term industrial undertaking? As I said, industrial undertaking is nothing but the land and building which is being used for industry. Right now, definitely land is an appreciating asset, but building is a depreciating asset, right? So sometimes what will happen is, since industrial undertaking, the facility itself is a temporary facility, it's not a permanent structure as such. So in such scenarios, most of these assets are considered as depreciating assets. So all you have to do is look for the clue in the question. If WDV is given, then we assume that this industrial undertaking is a depreciating asset. If WDV is not given, instead of WDV, CII is given, right? That in that case, we assume it's an appreciating asset. And you know, why do we have to do this classification? For a simple reason that depreciating assets do not qualify for indexation or indexing. Second, depreciating assets are always treated as short-term capital asset. Third, depreciating assets, we do not take cost of acquisition. Instead of taking cost of acquisition for depreciating assets, we take the written down value. So therefore, it's very important to do this classification the moment you look at the question. So what has happened is this industrial building was compulsorily acquired by government of Karnataka on 1st Jan 2020 for 6 lakh. So the 6 lakh compensation paid by the government to the SSE will be considered as sale consideration, and there is no transfer expense. So this itself will become the net sale consideration, 6 lakh. So from this 6 lakh, you have to deduct written down value as on 1st April of previous year, which is 2019 in this case. Since this is a depreciating asset, we don't take the cost. This is the cost of the machine, but we don't take this. Instead of cost, we should take written down value for all depreciating assets. We have already done a couple of numerical questions on depreciating assets. So you have to just recall what we did there. This will become your gross short-term capital gain. Depreciating assets are always short-term. So the gross capital gain will be 2,50,000 less deduction under section 54D. So what the SSE has done, Mr. Srijesh purchased another building for industrial undertaking for rupees 2 lakh on 20th March 2020. As per the rules, the new industrial undertaking or the building should be purchased within 3 years, but he has bought within few days itself. So purchase of new industrial undertaking, and he has purchased it for rupees 2 lakhs. Has he deposited any money in capital gain scheme? The answer is no, he has not done any deposits. So this will be his taxable short-term capital gain. Any questions and doubts if you have on section 54D, you can get it clarified now itself. Or for that matter, any other section also if you have doubt, which we have already done in the past classes, whether it is section 54, 54B. So if you have any questions, please go ahead with your questions.